As a survivor of child sexual abuse, being sexually abused really throughout my entire childhood, beginning at 3 and not ending till I was 17 years old, I come about all that we do at Voice Today with that passion of how could there have been intervention in my life? What could there have been, a tool, a book, a person? But what could have been something that would have entered my life that would have stopped the abuse, that would have caused me to tell, to speak up and speak out? So I go about all that we are producing at Voice Today through the eyes of the little girl who was a survivor, through her eyes, and wanting to develop tools to put into adults' hands in the home, in schools, in daycare centers, in dance studios, in karate studios, in our community, so that prevention becomes a fabric that's woven into every place that a child goes, and creating that circle of safety so that every adult understands and becomes vigilant about protecting the child from child sexual abuse. So in 2007, Voice was founded in 2008. When I really received the full vision in 2007, I really did feel like there needed to be a mascot for the cause. We have Smokey the Bear for forest fires. We have McGruff for crime. I'm sure around the world there are many, many mascots that stand up and speak to children about social issues. So I felt very strongly that as a component of Voice Today, and really felt like it would happen later than sooner, because I really felt like first I wanted the adults to rise up and be educated on prevention. But it became very clear very early that we really needed to have programs and products for children as tools for parents to use to talk to their children. I'm very passionate that these tools are entertaining and they're fun, and that they deliver wholesome messages to children, that they deliver messages about personal boundaries, about personal power, about the strength of their no voice, and honestly educating children that they have a right to affection, to touch, that they have a voice around this issue. So I introduce to you Gracie and Grant, who will be the mascots for the cause of child sexual abuse. Gracie and Grant have evolved and are still evolving. What you see here is some very faithful volunteers who have come alongside of us in trying to develop prototypes. We have just introduced our first children's book called Gracie Finds Her Voice, and I could not be prouder about this book. It was written by my son, Jacob Williams, and I first wrote the book, and Jacob took the book and said, "Mom, we can do better." And he has been an avid reader since he is 4 years old. He's a great fan of Dr. Seuss. And so the book is written in rhyme, and the book is written in such a way that it never talks about child sexual abuse. It simply talks about a secret. And little Gracie keeps a secret. And little Gracie learns how that secret makes her feel, how it makes her stomach feel, how it interrupts her eating, her sleeping patterns, and how difficult and challenging it is to keep that secret. And little Gracie can't tell her mother. A friend has asked her to keep this secret, so she covets it. But little Gracie falls asleep and tosses and turns, and when she finally gets into a deep sleep, she has a dream. And in that dream, the little secret comes to visit her. And the secret is cute and furry at first, but as he proceeds to try to talk Gracie out of her voice, he gets bigger, and he gets scarier, and he gets more angry. And really, Gracie is faced with a dilemma. Does she keep the secret, and does she stay in bondage to that fear of the secret? Or does she rise up, and does she get her voice? And does she have the strength and the courage and the power to tell? So when she does tell, like we all know, secrets disappear once they're out in the open. So Gracie is left very victorious with her voice, and she's able to tell the safe people in her life about the secret, and she's able to even tell the person the story of her journey about the secret that had asked her to keep the secret. So it goes full circle. It's interactive, and what we want to produce at Voice Today is programs that are interactive. So at the last page, we have a dry erase board, so we can encourage the child, if there is a secret in your life, if anyone's ever made you feel like Grant made Gracie feel, Has anyone ever made you feel uncomfortable? Have you ever felt stuck? Then you have an opportunity. If you don't have the words to say it, you can begin to draw the picture. You can begin to express your emotions, and this is a first step. So Gracie Finds Her Voice is on our website at voicetoday.org. We also have it in an ebook format on Amazon. These characters that you see before me, Gracie and Grant, we envisioned them being mascots that would be at festivals and sporting events to be delivering the message that we all have a powerful voice. And sometimes adults need to hear that in addition to children hearing it. So I can see that it would be impacting adults' lives in addition to children. But the puppets will actually be on tour in a puppet show, and the puppet show will be entertaining. There are songs that are currently being produced for Gracie and Grant that they would be able to teach children. The first song that's produced is called I Found My Voice Today, and what a more powerful song to teach. The Find Your Voice program, which is what we are calling this entire program, has many components to it. The puppets, the mascots, the children's books. We also have a very rough, and I stress the word rough, prototype of the Do Tell dolls. And the Do Tell dolls are a wonderful tool and a wonderful way to give a child a plan. If A happens, then that child knows they do B. So I introduce you to our Gracie and Grant Do Tell dolls, and they're just a little hand puppet, little pillow puppet. We have Gracie on one side and we have Grant on the other side. It's a great way that the children can act out the books, act out the stories that they hear. It's a great way and a great tool for a parent to say, here is your new Do Tell doll. And if there is something that makes you feel uncomfortable, something that you can't say, and you need my undivided attention, you put your Do Tell doll on my pillow. And I will know that I need to get eye to eye, and I need to give you some uninterrupted time and attention. So that is a plan. So a child does not have to worry, do I tell, if I tell, when's the right time to tell? They have a plan, and you have a plan. So the Do Tell dolls we're extremely excited about as a complimentary piece in the Find Your Voice Today program. And like I said, we have a rough prototype, and we're on a journey to be able to find an underwriter for the entire Find Your Voice Today program. In addition to the Do Tell dolls, we also have the life-size stuffed dolls of Gracie and Grant. It's real exciting to be able to show you this prototype, which a very faithful volunteer produced for us. But the goal of these dolls is to be a comfort if someone has been sexually abused, if children are brought into a protective custody after their disclosure. They need something to really hug and to hold and to understand. So my vision for the dolls would first of all be a comfort for those children, but also be able to teach a lesson to mainstream children. And that lesson is they'll have lots of costumes that you'll see throughout the books. They'll have the Playdate costume, they'll have their Power costume. And every time they're undressed, and kids love to dress up and undress dolls, they have no touch on their bathing suit part, which covers their private parts. And that reinforces the message. And there'll be a little message that comes along with the dolls that for parents, for adults, to teach their children that any part that the bathing suit covers, no one has a right to touch that without the permission of two people. Perhaps it's the permission of a mom and dad, perhaps it's the permission of a mother and a grandmother, a mother and an aunt. But there again, you have a plan. You have a plan. The child has a plan. The child has solutions. We also envision paper dolls, which would reflect that same kind of message. Paper dolls I played with when I was a little girl, and I think with all the technology games now that they're dated, but everybody's into what's retro and bringing it back. So I think that would be a wonderful product to bring back. Voice Today has this program on the runway, waiting for takeoff, and it is urgent, more than urgent, that we get these messages to our children. It is our goal to continue to produce and to continue to have everything ready for takeoff, so when our opportunity for mass distribution comes, we are ready. Gracie Finds Her Voice is our first book. We have our second book in production, and that will be Grant's book. And that book really is first named, and it may change, but Grant Finds His Fence. And it's really about Grant finding a voice around his personal boundaries and what is acceptable and what is not acceptable as relates to touch, as relates to emotional boundaries. So we're real excited about that book coming out. The Find Your Voice Today program is really about letting these sweet, entertaining puppets and characters speak to children, because they will listen so much quicker to something that's fun and entertaining than they really will an adult. So I'm excited to introduce them, and I'm excited to see them come to life, and I'm excited to see them go around the world to protect a child.